All right, welcome to the next episode of the Volleyball Data Lab. I'm your host, Tyler, and today we're going to be walking through Shiny apps. Starting with a select input, how to get teams and players. We're going to start with that. First thing I like to do is go up to the top right and hit New Project. When I do that, right now you can see in my directory here, let's move this over. You can see that these files are in here. When I hit new project, or when I go up to the top right and hit project and hit new project, it will create a new folder over here. I'll hit new directory, new project. I'm going to call it reception app, create project. And you're going to see that that then created. I'm going to take one of the RDA files and put it in the reception app folder that was just created that I just created within our studio. I'm going to put that in there so we can use some test data as we piece this together. Get rid of that. I'm going to go back here. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to create a file. There's different ways to do this. This is just the way I do it. We're going to save this file and we're going to call app.r, and that should be within your reception app folder. You're going to hit save. Now we're going to load libraries. Libraries. So we're going to go library, tidyverse, and library, Shiny. So if you don't have Shiny installed, go ahead and install that. The way you do it is you go down here to your console, install, and then something will pop up in Shiny. And then hit enter, that'll install it. Once that's done, then proceed further. So we're gonna load the data. Load acc.rda. All right. From here, I like my data named df. That's just a personal preference. It doesn't add an extra step. It's not necessary. I could just say ACC and leave it at that. But eventually what I want to do is put the rest of the conferences I have inside this folder. And so I'm going to combine all those files and name it DF. So if I keep it DF now, it'll make it easier in the long run. Right, so now that we have these two things done, we have my data and we have our libraries, and we have our project ready. I am, and one side now, when you do create a project, this file will come up. That's a nice file. If you want to load a file, you can just double click that and it will actually just take you straight to your project folder. And that's quite nice. So you can see I should have, this is trying to open up another instance of it or another object of R, or however you want to name it. I don't need it. So now what we want to do is we want to define the UI layout. Okay, so what that means is user interface layout. So what is it the person, what is the person seeing when they see your app or see your dashboard? Are they seeing a button that drops down? Select a team. You click it. Does it drop down and have a bunch of teams you can select? Or select a player. Same thing. So that's what defining the UI. Whoops, if I can spell layout. Layout. That's what that means. And we're going to call it UI. We're going to give it, we're going to do a few things here that might not make sense. We're going to give it a title, reception app, and you can adjust the text there. We're not going to worry about it right now. Sidebar layout. I'm not going to talk about that right now. Sidebar panel. So you're going to need these things for this to work properly. Right now, our input controls go in this portion. So what we want to do is we want to create a button that lets you select a team from the ACC conference. So what we're gonna do is say there's different inputs here. We're just all we care about is that select input. And if you want, you can highlight it, push F1. That should bring up the help menu, and you can see what kind of arguments you can give it. But we want to name the input ID as team. So what that means is when, actually, you know what? Just name it that for now. We'll go over what it means in a bit. Not right now, though. We're going to give the label. So what do people see when this comes up? It's gonna be select team. So now, if we ditch that for now, main pound, that's what we want right there. And actually, this is where your output displays go. If you want tables or plots, that's where that goes. So I'm gonna do something here. So after this, we need to define the server function. And what that means is we want to say server function input, output, input, output. Clever, right? Input, output. So basically anything that's going in here and out there is now going into this server object, and we want to run it. From here, run app. And what we want to say is Shiny app UI server. And when you hit save, if you notice top right, now I can hit run app. So my input needs a choice. All right, so if you researched a little bit with DPLYR, some of the links I had put in the previous videos, you'll know that what you can do, we have this object named df. Is it loaded? No, it's not. So let's load it. I don't like it to do it this way because I like to just hit run app and it loads. But for what I want, this will take 1 second. All right, there we go. All right, so we want to say unique df team. And what that does is bring up a list of unique teams. But you can see that it's not in alphabetical order. So what if I did that? If I hit sort unique, if I just copy and paste that, those are what I want my choices to be, are those teams. If you want to make this look a little cleaner for when you come back to it later, you can do something like that. So you could continue adding arguments in if you so choose. This multiple, let's see, actually right here, multiple. I think we do want multiple, right? What is select eyes? I do not know. I will be honest. Whether to select eyes or not. That doesn't really help, does it? Let's see here. Number of items to show in the selection box. A larger number will result in a taller box. Ew, that's not what we want. Let's run app. Let's see if that's what happens. Do we get a gigantic tall box if I select all the teams? I bet. Oh, that didn't want to work. That is too bad for me. Probably because I spelled choices incorrectly. Something about trial and error, right? I'm not going to hit run app though because it takes too long. It's slow. Oh, look at that. The box does get taller. That's too bad for me. So, yeah. A larger number will result in a taller box. Not compatible with select eyes equals true. So if I do that, so okay. So if I do this, that mean I just like to use that. And actually I like the spaces. I'm finicky. Everyone's different. It's, you know, then that beauty is just do it what works. Let's see what happens. That's still getting taller. I don't know what they're talking about here. What if I did false? Aha! And then you can hit Control. Oh, that's interesting. And you can hit Control A, and that selects them all. So that's one way. I actually don't really like that, to be completely honest. I don't like that. That reminds me of some TK enter, and I'm not using that right now. So right now we have our select input. We're gonna call it teams input. Well, let's add another. Let's just copy paste this, and you probably could put this in a function if you have multiple. So that way it's a little bit easier. So now let's see what that does. Pretty straightforward. That's all I need to do. And voila, there is now two boxes. Select team, select player, and you can do this forever because there's a zillion players. But what I want to return the players for only specific teams. Makes sense, right? So there is a way you can do that. It's a little tricky, but luckily we're going to go through that right now, and then we're going to call this video done. It's already almost been 15 minutes, and I like to make it short into this. Make the video shorter than what this is, and I haven't been doing that the last few videos. So let's be honest, I probably won't accomplish that goal, but that's fine. What you want to do is put in reactive logic. Reactive logic goes here. So basically what this says, I'm creating something that says when I want to return, I want to create something named filtered team. That's what that is. I'm creating filter team. When this is kind of going through some base R filtering. So basically what I'm saying is when the team, so if I hit DF team, so let's just take Boston College. Input team. So if you remember, this is a good example of how to use inputs. My input ID is team. Input team. So when I select a team, that is my filtered team. If I do this, actually, I don't know what would happen if I did this. Let's make a test. What does this do? I don't know. So now that returns all players of Boston College. I hope. I think. So that's what that's doing right here. So I'm creating something that says filter team. All right, you got the team, return only those players. That's it. Boom. But this will not work until we do something else. Two more things. And then we're donezo with this video. Now it's 16 minutes. I think, there we go. So, sorry, a little finicky. I just like it to be a specific way. So what we want to do is we want to observe the event of filter team. So we're going to look at it. We're going to say, hey, look at this. Look at filtered team. Look at what we've done. We're looking at it. And then we're going to update select input. And we're going to change this so it looks a little bit better. It makes sense. And we're going to update select input. And we put session there because that is what's necessary to go there. And the input ID, if you remember, is player. And the label is select player. Okay. I believe you can probably take these two out and it'll still work. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. And my choices, I want my choices to be the unique value of filter team. So if I were to do this, let's just see. Let's just make an experiment of my really long video that I wish wasn't long. There we go. What if I did that? Did not find filter team. That's because it doesn't exist. So there you go. That returns a unique sorted list of DF player name from the team Boston College. That is what we want for this app. Player number 13. Thank you for participating in that match that you participated in. But the problem is, if I do this, it will not work. Let me show you. There is a reason for that. So I'm not going to load my data because I already loaded it once. Boston College. Oh, look. I think it did work. I did not think that would work. Interesting. Okay. That did work. I did not think it would work. Let's see. If I do this, if I take away that and that, that's interesting. I thought I was going to have to change my choices here. Because your choices are blank, you can put this as, I believe, null. And that should work. And if I run it again, select team, and there you go, boom, sucks it all. So anyway, you can see that this is now working. And if I select more in one team or one player, and we'll go through another video how to make that look nicer. So there is number 1 video, team and player. All right, 20 minutes later, boom.